Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Stephen Howson, and I am not in my usual spots. Where are you, Steve? Well, I'm in this little hotel here, and it's lovely. Thanks for asking. I'll talk about that a little bit later on, but I wanted to talk to you about this next round of Hall of Fame nominations for the Premier League. So the Premier League has released the 2023 nominees. And the nominees are Tony Adams, Sol Campbell, Carrick, Cech. You know what I mean? All of these guys for me should probably end up in the Hall of Fame at some point. The order you can argue about, but there should be no doubt about those four players, in my opinion. Andy Cole, Ashley Cole, Jermaine Defoe, Les Ferdinand. Probably going to roll with that as well. Rio, Robbie Fowler, G-Nev, Michael Owen. Michael Owen played with a lot of promise, but he won a Ballon d'Or on the back of 16 league goals. 16, 1-6, not 60, 16. Would it cut it that nowadays? Robbie Fowler had a 2 or 3 elite seasons in the Premier League and had a fairly long career. He had good numbers at Liverpool, but realistically, there was a lot better strikers around Andy Cole, for one. But I got no issues with him. Ended up in the Hall of Fame, even though he never won it. Vidic, Yaya Toure, John Terry. Now, the first thing that stands out to me here is that John Terry has been nominated despite the fact that he was proven guilty for racially abusing a fellow professional on the football pitch. Why is that a problem? Well, for starters, it happened on the pitch, and I think it was a Premier League game as well. They took a moral stance on Ryan Giggs because of the ongoing court case with Ryan Giggs. Because if Ryan Giggs isn't in the Hall of Fame, your Hall of Fame ain't worth a wank, my friend. Right? Whether Ryan Giggs is guilty or innocent, the Premier League took a moral stance on the situation with Ryan Giggs. Now, John Terry, the situation was he was found guilty of abusing a fellow professional. You could even argue the moral judgment of what's going on with Ryan Giggs didn't even happen on a football pitch. If you're just focusing on what he did on a football pitch, the guy's an angel. Now, if he gets found guilty, he gets found guilty, and there'll be consequences for that. But you can't deny what the guy did on the pitch. If you make a moral judgment for one, you have to make a moral judgment for all of the people that you're about to put in my opinion. Surely. How can you not? How can there be moral judgment on one side but not on another one? That makes no sense to me. Now, amongst all of this lot, there's some excellent players there, right? They've asked you to vote for 3 players. I think there's 5 Manchester United players on there deliberately to split the vote. Because if you split the Manchester United vote, you're going to probably see... You might see all City fans vote for Yaya Toure, but all City fans won't vote for Yaya Toure because Pep don't like him and Pep can't do any wrong with Manchester City. But make no mistake, as a rival fan, Yaya Toure is in the Premier League Hall of Fame. He was an absolute legendary footballer, the very definition of what goes in the Hall of Fame, and he won it. As I said on Twitter probably a couple of years ago, Yaya Toure was who Sky Sports think Steven Gerrard was. The man who could do everything. He could score the goals. He also had actual defensive positioning. He could play out. He could play in centre half if you need to. Not the Roy of the Rovers Stevie Me shit that Steven Gerrard does. Peter Cech, no problem. You know, like I said, for my vote out of that there, here's the thing. All 5 United players that are on that list deserve to go in. All 5 of them. And that's what the Premier League is going to get. So you might get Chelsea fans... They've got 3 they can vote for. Cech, Ashley Cole, Terry. That's who Chelsea fans will vote for. Liverpool fans will vote for Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen. And I have no idea who else Liverpool fans. They might go Jermaine Defoe. They might go Les Ferdinand. They might say Cech maybe. I don't know. Arsenal fans have got 2 they can vote for, so they're definitely going to vote for them. Liverpool fans have got, like I said, 2 in there, so that's who they'll vote for. Manchester United fans... Having 5 nominees will weaken how many people vote for. Some will miss Andy Cole off. Some will miss Michael Carrick off. Because of Gary Neville's 10-year campaign to reduce his own career, in the most egregious attempt to be humble anyone's ever seen, ever, Gary Neville has almost diminished his own career to nothing. Make no mistake, Gary Neville's a legend of the game. And he was, for the final 28 games of our unprecedented treble season, Gary Neville played every single minute of every single match. That's not a player that isn't performing. That's not a player that doesn't have the complete and utter trust of Sir Alex Ferguson. That's not a player that is at the peak of his professionalism, being fit enough to play every single minute of every single game, and some of those games went to extra time. Do you know what I mean? Gary Neville's done such a good job of reducing his career down to sound bites and being so neutral that he almost calls himself shit on TV, that people will actually argue with you that Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville were comparable footballers when they couldn't be further from even close. Gary Neville was elite. Probably world class for a number of years he was at Manchester United. I'd say probably a good 4 or 5 years he was one of the best in the world in his position. And I've got zero qualms saying that. Now, some will miss Rio off. Some will go without Vidic. Some people will miss Andy Cole off. I think Andy Cole, with the same penalties that Shearer... Andy Cole took 1 penalty in his career. If he had the same number of penalties Shearer had, I think he's like a handful, 8 goals, something like that, off what Alan Shearer scored. Never brought up, never mentioned, never talked about. And people have got the cheek to try and bring up like Darwin Núñez's fucking shit shooting to try and use it as a stick to beat Andy Cole with. But the most egregious thing about all of this is the fact that you've got Herberts on Twitter that must have been watching football for all of 3 minutes, proclaiming that Robertson and Trent are the greatest Premier League fullbacks that have ever played the game. Dennis Irwin hasn't even been nominated yet. Dennis Irwin was a better right back than Trent and a better left back than Robertson at the same time. In terms of who's the greatest ever right and left back, Dennis Irwin is on the list for both. I think Ashley Cole, Evra, Irwin is probably the basis of your list of who the greatest left backs the Premier League has seen. I think it's Dennis Irwin. I think it's Gary Neville. I'm missing someone, I think, but the list of right backs doesn't include Trent. I can come up with a lot of centre-halves who are in there in front of John Terry as well. Ledley King should be one of them in terms of pure ability. Jaap Stam's not even on this list. And Jaap Stam's the only player I know of that has won a title in all the years he played in the Premier League. And it seems like to me that they can't do anything. I think because there's so much anti-United out there, it feels to me like the Premier League cannot do anything pro-United. Sir Alex Ferguson has just been inducted into the Hall of Fame for the Premier League, and they had to induct Wenger at the same time. Wenger, who never retained a single title. In 3 years, Sir Alex Ferguson matched what Arsene Wenger did. Just three of his years. 13 titles. 2 three-peats. Multiple retaining. As well as winning doubles and trebles. Can't just give Sir Alex Ferguson his flowers and have it all about Ferguson. They have to bring Wenger in as well. And Wenger should be in. This isn't me saying that Wenger shouldn't be in. But why can it never be on his own? When they open the induction for Premier League Hall of Fame, honestly, I think the most winningest players is like 20 Manchester United players before you get to anybody else. And I know some of these players are still playing. But when you think about future greats, the likes of Kante that have won a title at multiple clubs, there's not a lot of people done that. Very, very few people done that. When you see Riyad Mahrez won it with 2 different clubs to even what Kante won, obviously they won one together. These are future Hall of Famers, but they probably won't get in over the likes of... How's Steven Gerrard in the first voting? Honestly, how can a player that hasn't won the thing that you're voting for be considered a Hall of Famer? Because if it's just longevity... Is John O'Shea going in? Actually won it. Forget that. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Some of the way this voting is done. And it's done to appease the biggest moaning bastards in the world, which is the Scousers. Which is probably Arsenal fans. With their golden trophy. Try retaining one. Try winning 13 of them in 20 years. Not one where you had loads of draws and lost to United like twice, I think, in that season. Anyway, the reason I'm down on the South Coast in Lulworth, so we are doing the 30 by 30 challenge. It started today. And tomorrow we are doing something. Lulworth Cove is a beautiful part of the world. Jurassic Coast, loads of little coves all up and down here. And the coach that I'm working with, Luke, is doing a get-together on the beach and then a hike. And I thought, do you know what? That's a bit of me, that. So we are partnered with Whoop for this 30 by 30 challenge. So it's 30 days of working out for 30 straight days. We thought we'd do it for April because it's 30 days of April. It's been a brutal day today. It was like a 6-hour drive. Paddock had a match. So I had to get up early, go do my run. I did running intervals. My feet are aching. Done a full day driving. It's now 9:30. It'll be gone 10 by the time I get this out. Tomorrow we're doing an hour of fitness on the beach. That'll be minging, I'm sure. And then I think we're having a barbecue and then we're going doing a hike. So it'll be an awesome day. The pictures and the videos from it should be wicked. But if you want to get in the mix, if you've not got a Whoop, so Whoop is this. It's a wearable. It's the app. It's the band. And it isn't a tracker. It isn't a watch. It does way more than an Apple Watch does. It can measure your stress. It'll measure your strain. It'll measure your heart rate throughout the entire day. It'll tell you if you're correctly recovered or not. You can see the trends. I've had mine. I just passed the 800-day mark for how long I've had mine. So I'm delighted to be working with Whoop because it's not just a product that I'm excited to like share with you guys. It's something I've been using for, I'm going on 3 years of use with it. So it's something I truly, truly believe in. It's really helped me with my own fitness journey. So if you want to get in the mix, we can do a free month for you on Whoop with the link that's in the description. If you've already got a Whoop, then you can come and join the community as well. And all you got to do is throw the code in that is in there. And this community is getting pretty busy now since it kicked off. We're nearly at 100. I'd love to get to 100 by tomorrow night. So come and join in the community. It's a wicked little community. And if you're not going to do either of those things, then there is a Reddit group. I'll throw the link to that into the comments as well. So come and talk to us about what you're doing. I'm going to be sharing my program and my progress all the way through the month. Cheers for checking it out. Let me know your thoughts on the Hall of Fame, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Laters.